If you feel lost every time you open Photoshop, but you also really want photos that look like this video is for you. I edit all of my photos with Photoshop. And honestly, it's not as hard as people like to make it sound. The problem that most photographers have is that they learned Photoshop from some guru that made the process of editing inside of Photoshop super complicated. Or maybe you are the one who feel like Photoshop must be complicated to have good results. So in this video, I want to show you how to make editing in Photoshop super simple so you can too edit photos that look like this. So here I am inside of Photoshop. First of all, you don't need to know everything about Photoshop to be able to edit photos like this. So first of all, you need to know a few tools in the toolbar, but not everything. You need to know what is the move tool. Move tool, this is V on your keyboard. If you click on V, you're gonna have the move tool and it allows you to move things around in your canvas. So the canvas, this is where you have your photos. So let me do something here. If I click V, I am on the move tool and then I can just move here. You see the little kind of color thing I did. I can just move it around. If I don't know in what tool I am, I would tend to reset the tool I'm on by clicking on V, and at least I know it's not going to do anything weird except maybe moving something. So this is the move tool. Then you need to know the tool to clean your image. So this is J on your keyboard, or here you can see the little patch, and you have the spotting brush tool, the remove tool, the healing brush tool, and this is really only the 3 cleaning tools that you need to know, okay? I wouldn't even waste any time with the patch tool, content aware move tool, or the red eye tool, okay? So just focus on spotting brush tool, remove tool, eventually healing brush tool if you are doing portraits. Then the brush tool, of course, this is what will allow you to brush on mask and to do a dodge and burn, to do the glow technique that I teach in another video. So the brush is super important. This is B on your keyboard, and here that's just the little brush tool that you have. And if you are new to Photoshop, I would not even complicate my life and check all the different shape you can get for the brush tool. Just take a normal brush. So you go to the first folder here and then you just click the first one. Then the next thing you need to know is the selection tool. So here you have the object selection tool, and eventually if you want to do very precise selection, I would recommend you to use the pen tool. This is P on your keyboard. This is the first one, and like that you can create really precise selection by making the shape yourself. And that's it for the toolbar. This is the only things you need to know at first. Don't complicate yourself by trying to know every tool that are available here on the toolbar. Next thing here, of course, this is the layer panel. You need to know what the layer panel is, otherwise there is no point to edit inside of Photoshop. If you don't see the layer panel or any panel that I show you, you can always go to Windows and then click on layers here. If it's not checked, this means it's invisible. If it's checked, it's visible, okay? If you click on the little plus here, it's going to create a new layer where you will be able to add something on it. And if you click on this little rectangle with a circle inside, it's creating a mask. If this is white, this means that everything that is on the layer will be visible. If this is black, I'm going to turn it black, Command I. That means everything that is on my layer will be invisible. And of course, what's interesting is that if I add something like this on my image and I want it to be invisible only in one part of my image, I can just take my brush, be on my keyboard, take a black color. So here I'm just going to choose a black color. If you don't see this little color thing here, you go to Window, you click on Color, and then I'm going to click on my mask, brush some black, and you see that it disappears. And just like that, you know how to use mask. And you can use layer or adjustment, and that's the next thing I want to show you. This is adjustment, and this is where you will be able to choose adjustment layers to work on light, work on color, work on effect on your image. So let's say, for example, I want to use color balance, and then I make some adjustments. And I want to make this little path here like more blue. This is really random. This is just to show you. I'm going to invert the mask. So here you can see adjustment layer comes automatically with the rectangle, the mask. So I'm going to invert it, Command I. And then with my brush, I want this adjustment to affect only the path here, like I just said before. So I'm gonna have to paint this path in white because I want to reveal my adjustment. So I choose white color here, and then I'm just going to paint the path. And if there was something more specific, I could use just a selection tool to select a specific area. Okay? And just like that, this is how you target one specific area in your photo. Once you know that, the toolbar, the layer panel, and the adjustment panel in Photoshop, you are good to go. You can edit in Photoshop. The next most important thing to don't be lost every time that you edit is to have a workflow and to follow the same workflow every time you edit. I want to show you my own workflow. So this is the raw image, and when opening the raw image, I will do a raw development inside of Camera Raw. So this is where you do general lighting, general color grading on your image before ending up inside of Photoshop. Then once I'm in Photoshop, first things first, I will always do the cleaning, okay? So I clean my image, and then I do color grading, glow and dodge and burn. I have another video about the glow technique, how I make it and all. So if you are curious how I get this result, check this video. Then my secret sauce, it's like a set of adjustment I do, final adjustment, and then my sharpening. If you want to learn more from me and learn my actual full workflow for my travel photos, I teach that in my masterclass bundle. I will take you from the raw to the final result, final export in 2 different images. The link of the masterclass bundle is in the description. And this here, this workflow, I do it on all of my image, every single image. And this is what helps me to don't be lost and be like, I start my edit and then I'm like, what is the next step? When should I finish the edit? And you know, you just never know what's next and when it's over. And it makes the process of editing super complicated when you don't know what you are supposed to do. So what I recommend you is to always follow the same steps. And by the way, I have a little action that I've built for my students. I will give it to you if you want. I'll add the link in the description. And when you click on it, if I click on workflow here, it's going to create layers and folders, and so I know exactly what I need to do. So I need to do the cleaning, after I need to do the color grading and the final adjustment, and it's create folders, and I can just add layers or adjustment inside of the folders, and so I am never lost when I edit. Now you might be thinking, okay, but how do I know what my workflow looks like? Well, repetition first. You need to edit your photos over and over and try to notice in what order you tend to do things. And then try to keep this order on all of your edits. It will also help you a lot to find your style and to have a consistent look on your photos, because you are always doing the same steps on all of your photos. So it creates kind of a general look for your photos as a series. Another thing I would recommend you is to check speed edit from other photographers or master classes. Stop buying Photoshop course. You know how it works. If you are not sure of something, practice, click on all the buttons, see what it does. But something that I think is much more valuable than a software course, this is masterclass, where photographers show you a full edit on multiple images if possible, from the very beginning to the end, because it will allow you to learn real technique and not just what button to push on the software, because we don't care that you need to click on the little brush here to have the brush tool activated. It's not going to teach you to create beautiful images. So invest in a different photographer masterclass, look at what are their workflows, and then pick one technique from this photographer, one technique from this other photographer, one technique that you built yourself by trying things around in the software, and build your own workflow. And like that, you're gonna see that Photoshop is not that complicated. And instead of focusing on the tools, you really focus on the creative part of editing, on making the image feels like how it felt on location. Focus on color grading, what colors you want, what color harmony to build in one image. And yeah, that's really by building your own workflow that Photoshop will seem easy, your photos will feel consistent, you will find your style, and editing will be a happy part of photography and not the most annoying part anymore. If you are curious about my own workflow, I do have a masterclass bundle where I share every steps from A to Z on 2 different images that you'll see on the screen now. You will learn raw development, cleaning, color grading, light adjustment, sharpening, but most importantly, the workflow I use on all of my photos. The link is in the description. I hope to see you inside.